reviewing our faith, going back to trusting and believing the faith that we have. I guess I don't really need this. I don't get it. I can't live by it because I don't want it. Yeah, too loud. We've been talking about reviewing our faith. What was our base scripture in Proverbs, the 3rd chapter, verse 5 through 6? We've been talking about trusting in the Lord, bringing ourselves to a place to fully trust him, not somewhat trust him, but fully trust him. You have to fully trust God when you don't have the means to provide for yourself. Now you're in a place of trusting him. When you need to be healed of something and you're trying all kind of methods, what do you have to do? But what do we usually do in those situations? We lean to we trying to trust God, but also trying to figure it out. But when you give yourself up to I can't figure it out, or the way I've been figuring it out, it hadn't worked that way, then you give yourself over to God, and he starts giving you the path to take. And so that's where we are in the message of what we've been dealing with in trusting in him and giving our full trust to him. And I wouldn't tell anyone that this is an easy place, but it is a place of growth where you got to grow in this type of trust. That it doesn't happen overnight. It's your day. If you trust in him for daily bread, you're going to start getting to a place to where you just trust him for today. I'm not worrying about tomorrow. I'm not worrying about what can change, what going to come tomorrow, and watch this another key. And I'm not thinking about the past. They didn't look at the manna that they got yesterday. They ain't looking for the manna tomorrow. What do I got? This is what I'm gathering today. And I'm telling you, it's gonna sink. Because if you take care of today, will tomorrow take care of itself? Look, watch this. If I save $1 today, how much I have for tomorrow? And then now I'm saving another $1 for tomorrow comes, and I'm saving $1 for that day. How many dollars do I now have? So isn't tomorrow now taking care of itself? Because of what I did, because my focus of, because I'm leaning on, I'm understanding God for, I'm present with him. God, now how I'm going to do this, if the bill on the 30th, I'm not worrying about the 30th, I'm worrying about today. Lord, what you going to do for me? How you going to help me? Who do I need to talk to? Where do I need to go? So I'm not leaning to my own understanding. In all my ways, I'm acknowledging him when? I know you're the same yesterday, today, and forever, but I'm looking at you. Your goodness and mercy is enough for you. He renews you day by day. So he gives you what you need for. A lot of times we depressed and we full of anxiety because we worrying about. If you can't pay the bill today, why are you worrying about it tomorrow? God, what you gonna do for me today to get this matter together? I'm telling y'all, it's gonna kill worry and anxiety. Some of the worry and anxiety off of you immediately, because now you're not focused on what you can't control. Because you can't control tomorrow. You don't even know if you're gonna be here.
That's true.
Amen. He gives you new mercies every day. Today, God, I need your mercy. Today, I need your grace. Today, I need your presence. You want somebody you need somebody because you're having a situation going on and you need them. I'm going to come next week. You don't need them next week when you need them. I need somebody to give me a ride up to this place. When you need them to give you a ride. Well, I'll pick you up tomorrow. Tomorrow going to be too late. Oh, Jesus. Help us, God, just to not lean to our own understanding, but in all our ways, when am I acknowledging him? Today. When do he know what I have need? He already know what I have need of. He know you have that need today. So I'm going to trust him for today. In all my ways, I'm acknowledge him, and he will direct my path. So we've been talking about reviewing our faith. We talked about looking through a different lens. We talked about magnifying him. And now let me bring us back to the binocular illustration and add the telescope in that too. Because with binoculars, if you're looking through the binoculars and everything looks blurry, what do you have to do? What we talked about? You got to turn the little wheel on the top. Then what you're looking at change. Just your view of it change. So that's when we're talking about review, where I've been looking, my faith looks blurry right now, and I may have little faith, I may have weak faith, I may have strong faith, where my faith is, but how am I, it's how I'm looking at the situation. So I said weeks before, go back and look again to see where you thought God was. Go back and look again to see if really is it. What is he wanting me to see in that? But in this message today, we want to keep looking, but we want to look differently. Because see what the telescope does, the telescope brings what's far, far away and brings it into view. I haven't been able to see this because I've been looking right in front of the situation. I need a telescope so I can see further. But not just what I can see further. I want to talk to us today about who I can see. So let's look at Hebrews, the 12th chapter, verse 1 and 2. Because when we talk about the hall of faith, or those that went before us, they had one thing that followed them throughout, is God being with them through what he brought them through. So we look to them for examples of what God brought them through. And if he brought them through, he can bring us through as well. So Hebrews 12 and 1, therefore we also, since we are surrounded by so great cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside, let who? Us. Let us lay aside every weight. Mm-hmm. Let's lay aside every weight and every sin that so easily besets us or ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that's set before us. Let's lay aside every weight. Don't life get heavy sometimes? Yes, it does. Don't the trials and the circumstances get heavy? Yes. But we have to do what James told us to do, and we got to learn how to count it all joy when you're going through that. Ooh, come on, y'all. Somebody, if y'all can come with me. Who want to count it all joy when things get heavy? Right. And so something, my view is it's blurry when the life gets heavy, and I can't have joy in this heaviness. But when I put him in focus, now I see where my joy is coming from. And now in understanding that, now I know what he's saying when I got to lay aside the weight and the sin that so easily besets me. Then I go to verse 2, he says, looking where? When Peter, we learned this lesson, when Peter left out of the boat, he had his eyes on Jesus, right? When he took his eyes off of Jesus, what began to happen? He leaned back to his own understanding and he began to, and then he said, Lord, save me. So here he says, looking unto Jesus, who is the author and the of whose faith? Our faith. So the faith that we are to have, we look to Jesus as the example of that faith. And now he gives us what that faith looked like for Jesus. He endured the cross, the heaviness of the cross, the heaviness of the circumstances and the situations that was against him. He despised the shame of the cross, because the way of the cross was the worst way. If you are on the cross, you must have done something worthy of the cross. It's like capital punishment. This like the death penalty. This is the ultimate way to carry out death in that time, was for a person to hang on the cross. Because not only did the cross show that you did a crime, it also ridiculed you before society. It also showed you in a place of shame. But so Jesus said he despised that shame of the cross for us, and he is now seated at the right hand of God, meaning he accomplished the mission. So I didn't just talk about faith. I walked a faith before you, and then I accomplished the faith. And the scripture also says he was obedient even unto death. So it was the things that he suffered is how he learned obedience. Oh, I didn't like that one either. When he said suffer, it was letting the cup pass, not letting the cup pass for him and saying, nevertheless, Lord, not my will, but your will. It was being spat in his face, but yet not saying a word. It was being pierced in his side and all of these things happening, and still yet being faithful to God's promise. What was he being faithful to? There's a seat for you by me. You are my only begotten son in whom I'm well pleased. Every knee gonna bow and every tongue gonna confess that you are Lord. So I can count it all joy now because I know what my prize gonna be. And that's why God says you have to, you got to believe that I am, but not just believing that I am, you got to also believe that I'm a rewarder of them that diligently seek me. See, we'll believe God that he is, but do you really believe him for the reward? The reward of your faith is sticking to it, and when he rewards you, he's not going to just reward you, but he's going to reward you openly. Every knee going to bow at Jesus. Every tongue going to confess that he is Lord. He ain't saying some people going to confess you, Lord. He said all of them going to confess. When that time comes, when he split those skies and come back to reign and to rule, every knee is going to bow. Every tongue will confess because he was obedient even unto death. He didn't be forgetting those things which are behind you and reaching forward towards the things that's before. I press toward the mark for what? For the prize of the higher calling. See, because sometimes religion or denomination will tell you you're not supposed to get the prize. You're supposed to just suffer. David didn't just kill Goliath. He was a man after God's own heart. But he also killed him because you're going to get an inheritance. You're going to get married into the kingdom family. And then you're going to get, he saw some things too in his kingly role and in his role as a priest. I'm not going to put God before, but he also bringing me. So not only am I killing this Goliath, I'm setting myself up on the earth with an inheritance, because now not only is he giving me this giant, but he's also bringing me to a giant place. Oh. That's hard to believe. Some of us, haters, cause us to hide what God won't bless us with. You know why? Because there are people that won't be seen with the blessing. Look at y'all, listen to the difference, y'all. There's people that won't be seen with the blessing, and then there's people that are blessed that they see. When you put the blessing before God, you're looking for attention. But when you understand you the blessing, then all these things begin to come and follow you. And so it's putting it in the right perspective and not understanding understanding how God operates and what he wants to do in our lives. And that is where when we review in our faith, yes, Jesus had to go through the cross, but the reward was still greater because now he has authority over all things. God has given him the keys to the kingdom. And now we as the rocks or the pebbles, or so to say, the living stones, he said, now I've given you the keys of the kingdom. And whatsoever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. So I'm going to work through you from my authority. So I'm going to give you the authority on earth to operate how I would operate in the earth through my spirit. That's going to change your posture. Because I'm not just a human being on the earth. I'm a spiritual being living the earthly, waiting for my heavenly body to meet this. So now it changes how I occupy. I didn't even get to my topic yet. And so today we talked about this. We talked about getting your faith up. Y'all remember that? We got what we're trying to do is get our faith up. And so I'm taking that same topic but we pointing it in the right direction now. So my topic for today is get your faith up. Meaning take your eyes off of the situation that you see and put your eyes on him. Take your eyes off of what is going on and keep your eyes on him and let him direct the path that we in. So now, not only am I getting your faith up, meaning to get strengthened, to get strong, to stir up the gift, but also now, if I get my faith up, meaning put it in the right direction, then now I see things clearly as they are. So my question along that same point is, what are you looking at? We got to ask ourselves, y'all remember we talked about puny faith, little bit of faith. You know why faith get puny? Because of what we're looking at. If we're looking at the wind boisterous, we're going to sink. But if we keep our eyes on Jesus, then we're going to still walk above what's trying to drown me. If you see somebody walking on the situation that's trying to drown them, it's because they got their faith up. Meaning, I'm trusting in who? The Lord. And I'm trusting in him when? Today. I'm trusting in who? The Lord. And I'm trusting him when? Today. I'm trusting in who? The Lord. I'm trusting in him when? Today. Today I'm trusting in him. So my faith is up today because I'm looking to him for my help. So my eyes have to stay focused on who he is at all times. Because if I look at the circumstances of the situation, I could get weary. I could get stressful. I could get distressed. I could get oppressed. I could get myself down if I looked at the situation. But when you get yourself down and you look up, when you look up, that's going to get you up. And when you get up, you're going to give praise to him because your eyes is not fixed on what you see. Your eyes is fixed on who you see. And if you see him as he is, he's going to bring you to see your shout going to turn, as we said, your pity going to turn to praise because of who you, he said for his name's sake that he wants to do the things that he do in our life. So when I look at Psalms, the first 121 in verse 1 and 2, it tells me what to do. The psalmist is telling me what to do. He says, I will lift up my eyes to the hills from which comes my help. Where your help come from? My help comes from the Lord. Verse 2. My help comes from the Lord who have made heaven and the earth. I think I put verse 3 in there. He will not allow my feet to be moved. He who keeps you will not sleep. So he said, if you keep your eyes on the Lord, from which comes your help, if your help comes from the Lord, then that's where my focus is. This helps me understand the kingdom of seeking first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. So I'm seeking him. I'm putting my trust in him. Of who he is. So now I go do a survey of who God is throughout history, and I've seen him show up faithful. I saw him show up in the old. I saw him show up in the new. So I know he's going to show up tomorrow if he's shown myself faithful that he showed up today. You got somebody that you could call on that shows up when you need them to. It may be few, but you got somebody. Why you call that person? Why a certain person you call when you're in situation? Because that person has a track record of being faithful for the thing that you calling them to. So God is the same way. He's saying when you're going through your situation, make sure first you call on me. Before you call mom and them, before you call dad and them, before you call uncle, cousin, sister, brother, whoever, he says, fix your eyes on me and let me be the one that going to show you. So don't put your eyes on your own understanding. Don't put your eyes on your background. Look, don't put your eyes on the government. Don't put your eyes on today's economy. Don't put your eyes. See, the news comes on so you can see the vision. What it is. What the news is doing. What Facebook is doing. What Instagram is doing. What TikTok is doing. It's telling somebody vision. So he said, if you put your faith in his vision and what he's showing you, even when it looks away, and you trying to figure it out, the key to it is God has to be our source. Not the job our source, not the government our source. And sometimes that's what the issue has become, is we're depending on the government to be our source. And that source have limited resources. But if we look to the source, which is God, is he limited in his resources? Is he limited in anything in regards to us? And so therefore, if he's not limited, then that means I'm not limited. In Mark the 11th chapter, verse 22, Jesus simply told them, have faith in God. They saw the tree withered. They saw Jesus curse the tree, and they come back and just what Jesus said had happened to the tree. And when they made mention to it, Jesus said, have faith, whatever you ask in prayer, believing that you receive. So therefore, if we're seeking him, we're seeking God in prayer because he's able, right? We're not just praying to God for him to do something that he can't do. I'm praying to him because I know he's able to perform what he promised. So he said, if you know that about me, come to me asking for, believing that the thing that you're asking for is going to be done. That's going to be a different prayer than just praying and God, if you do it, I'm fine. If you don't do it, then that's fine. No, I'm praying because I believe he's going to do it. So in order to get your faith up, you got to get your eyes up. Y'all ever had this happen to y'all? That happened to me sometimes. When you go to pray or you go to study, your eyes get heavy. You ever been on your knees? It feel like you've been on your knees for an hour. It really been a minute and a half. But you done got extra sleepy. I mean, when you got down there, you wasn't sleeping. Now and then you said, okay, well, you stayed down there for a little more while. And then you finally, okay, well, I prayed enough. And then you get up from there, and then all of a sudden you got new strength to go on and do what you were doing. Now all of a sudden you ain't sleeping no more. Why is that? See, the enemy, that's part of why fasting and prayer is important, because when we fast, that brings us into alignment with him for those that slumber not to come on. That's why I say God doesn't slumber. It's interesting that happens. It's something that has to do with our neurological system or whatever, I would guess. Because I'm not the only one, from the response, I'm not the only one that, I don't know why it is. Yeah, okay, let's put it in this perspective. You went to work, and you at work, but you tired. You're at home. Lord, I'm just tired. I can't wait to get off. Then 5 o'clock hit, you get off. As soon as you get off, you get new energy.
Yes.
I'm not ain't the only one. It's something new. It's something. I mean, you just get. I mean, when we was in the world, we go out all night, and I got to do a 12-hour shift. Man, as soon as I get off work, I'm going to sleep. Man, I got to get some sleep. I've been out all night. But the clock strike 6. We got off of work 6:30. We planning on where we going tonight. What happened to sleep? I don't know. I got some new energy from somewhere. So it's showing me where I keep my eyes at, my focus is, and my energy is. And so if I keep my eyes up, look what Colossians the 3rd chapter verse 2 he says. Set your mind where?
On things above.
Not on things on the earth. Now, most people think this material. This don't have nothing to do with material. It could be material if that's where your focus is. But he's saying set your mind on things above. Meaning, set your mind on Jesus. Set your mind on what God said. Don't put treasure here on earth, but lay up treasure for yourself in heaven, it says. So I'm not focused on the things of the earth. If my focus is on things above, God gonna focus on the things on the earth for me. Because he said, if you seek first the kingdom which is above, then all these things gonna be added to you. Meaning he gonna take care of tomorrow, and he's gonna take care of clothes and raiment noodles. See, like that last, our favorite, raiment noodles. Clothes, food, and everything else, he said he take care of if you keep your eyes on me. A lot of times we can't see what God wants to bless us with because our eyes on everything else but him. When we put our eyes on him, he bring the blessing to us. Y'all know what we'll say to the blessing sometimes? No, I can't accept that. What? That ain't on God. He sent away sometimes and the way don't look like we want it to look, and we'll pass the way up. You could be walking and God send you a ride and you don't want that ride. I've done it before. I don't know. I think I'll keep walking. I don't know about that ride. What if that was the ride? We don't know. Yeah, look, I pray about that all the time. I don't help everybody nowadays. I help who God tells me. God, and one time I didn't help who God probably wanted me to help. I got beat up for it. God, I don't know if God was whipping me. I whipped myself for it because I know God told me to help that person. But we get all in our, this was before I got in his presence. You start getting the hardest of heart. You ask God, you got to get me away from that. But you still at the same time today, you got to be careful. Be led by, if you are in his presence, he's going to lead you to who to help and who not to help.
Yes, he will.
It could be a scary situation. But if God is in the scary situation, you can trust, believe that you covered. You don't have to be afraid because perfect love, somebody pull a gun out on you. If you and God, I ain't scared, what you got to be scared of? Because who could take your life? Nobody. God gave it to you. He's the only one that got the power over it. Now, if that person pulled the trigger, some evil in them, I'm not going to sit here trying to understand, God, why you allowed this. Because that we'll exhaust ourselves trying to understand it. But the point that I'm making is, if God is with me, who should I fear? So sometimes I walk out and I see a scary situation, I fear come over me. Sometimes also when I'm in those same situations, fear don't come over me because, man, God got me. Somebody walking here unannounced, we looking around, see who knows. I mean, we cautious, right? And then you gotta, okay, well, I'm trusting that because having folks walk in the churches and trying to take everybody out in the church. So that we ain't gonna be foolish, but at the same time, we're not gonna allow a fool to get us out of trusting the Lord. If our mind is set on things above, then guess what? We know that God has us. Isaiah 26:3 says it good as well. He says, I will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusted in the Lord. I will keep you in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on the Lord, because he trusts in the Lord. When you trust in the Lord, he keeps you in. I don't know why this peace has come upon me, because but you know what? When we lean into our own understanding, do you really have peace? No, you don't have no peace. Peace not yours. Peace not yours. This is a real experience. I know we all experience it. You trust in God, but really you're not at peace. We're not at peace because we steady trying to figure ways out to meet the situation. We're not trusting God fully. I don't have the answer. That's a hard one. Maybe he'll give me the answer because he put me in situations where I've had to completely trust him, and I don't know if I've done it the way he wanted me to do it or not. But I will have sympathy, compassion, and empathy for the person who is at that place, and you trying to tell them to trust God. It's easy to tell somebody else to trust the Lord. You got to trust God in this. You ain't in this. I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. You got to trust God. Yeah. Your lights is on. Yeah, your check coming. You clock in every week. You know you're going to get your check. Do y'all see why I'm saying the point of compassion? Be careful when we say, because when the foot on you, and you got to trust God, that same person coming to you to trust God, you're going to have the same feeling that they had when you told them to trust God. You don't know what. But guess who do know? God knows. And it is a place that if you pass this grade, I'm telling y'all, I'm tired of taking remedial classes in this area. If you could pass this grade, life is going to be so much more of a blessing. And we can get this down pat in every area of our lives. You had a big bet. I trusted you for this place. Am I going to trust? Well, you trying to talk, you bringing me to a whole bigger place and you telling me to trust you. He's the same God over the big as he is over the. And if you was faithful in a little, he can trust you to be faithful in. But if you hadn't been faithful in a little, stop asking God for the Mercedes and you ain't cleaned the Versa. I was trying to find a small car. If any of y'all got Versas, I ain't talking about y'all. I couldn't think. I think it's well, that's an Encore you have. I was thinking of a small car to a big car.
You said Tracks. I have a small.
Tracks? Yeah, well, that's a small, but the Versa even smaller than that. That's a small. I'm talking about small. So. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't, because we ain't trusting God. You know what you trusting God for? You trusting God for the Mercedes. You know how God wanted to give you the Mercedes? By treating the Versa correctly.
Yeah.
God said he gonna give me a Mercedes. So I'm shining up the Mercedes I'm shining up the Versa like it's the Mercedes. I'm cleaning it like this. You telling people I'm riding, no, I'm going to get my Mercedes. That ain't no Mercedes, that's a Versa. No, you're looking wrong. Head over here, look at these binoculars. You ain't got your binoculars on right. Take the vision. Because I'm looking at where God bringing me to. I ain't looking at where I'm at right now. Y'all see, God don't, y'all know that's still him being present. Because he's showing you what's present. Because there is no time in the spirit realm. Well, Pastor, I know what's in my body. So how could you say I'm healed? Because you're not healed, you healed in the spirit realm. Because there is no sickness or no disease in the spirit realm. The disease is in time. It's captured in this body. You ain't walking outside and passing by cancer. Hey, cancer, how you doing? Don't come this way. No, it's in the body. And the person that has dealt with that knows they can be delivered from that. When were you delivered from it? Not when you rung the bell. Some people who haven't rung the bell, you think they're going to heaven with cancer? No. They got a healing we can't even taste because we don't know how it looks. We don't know, we ain't there. But I'm telling you, somebody look at Jesus when their eyes open and they see we could only sing the song if I could only imagine. That's all we could do is imagine. But if I keep my mind stayed on him, the things that, I got to start listening to these messages. I listened to a message. I'm sorry, y'all, for the technical difficulties. Wednesday, I was putting a message that I taught up because it was so good. I took a snippet of the Sunday message, and I was going to put that up. And I guess I run out of space on the computer or something. I couldn't get it to load. I'm like, Tanisha gonna be mad. And I'm listening back to the song, to the song. I'm listening back to the message, and the pastor is just whipping me. I mean, you talking about you got to trust in the Lord because of this. You sitting there, you done told them to trust in the Lord. Yeah, pastor preached to me all week, y'all. The power of the video. I'm listening. You can't say those things and then you not do it because I know that ain't me. If I say it, then it applies to me as well. Y'all know that helped me? Going back and listening to what I was saying to us was applying to me last week. When the stuff happened in the rebel media world, and you still gotta trust him. Katrina took everything. What's my first step? I gotta trust the Lord. In time, some of the stuff came back. Did you see that? Could you really see that you was gonna get everything what you got today? Could you see it the day they told you you couldn't come back home? Even for the ones that have been through storms and lost everything, could you still? So I'm not beating Israel up so much of not being there. They got into the wilderness and they didn't have no bread or no food. And then God, what you gonna do? You brought us in this way. So he's trying to teach them, to humble them, to understand that man do not live by bread only, but by every word. So guess what now becomes our daily bread? Y'all see the connection? Lord, what the word you got for me today? What is the bread you got? See, at first I thought the bread was, Lord did provide the money for me today. No, is it? If he provide the word for you, that's going to send you to the money. Guess what's going to come? So that's what he said. And if you seek first the kingdom, if you seek first his word for the situation, he'll tell you the right job to go to. He'll tell you the right company, the provider to get for your health insurance. I'm talking about everything. Every single thing that you're doing in life, if you go, David inquired to the Lord to go get his family back. Why wouldn't God want him to go get his family back? He wasn't asking God to get his family back. He said, God, if I go to this war with these people, you going to win for me? That's what he's asking him. He know they're going to get my kids back. He know we're going to recover all. But first he inquired to when we talk about God being after, David being after God's heart, he's talking about seeking God first for everything concerning your life. Every single thing. Not some things, every single thing. And so the last way to leave you with the last point, what helps us to get our faith up. It's the last point, but it's a key point. It's a key point because it's one of the reasons why we lean so much to our own understanding. It's because our heart is not open to God. It's open sometimes. It's not open all the time. Because it's easier for me to open my heart to something I understand. And this is why I'm trying to lean to my understanding, because I'm trying to understand all of this. And when I can't understand it, I close my heart. And I begin to be hardened in my heart. And I'm studying this and I'm saying, well, what? Open up your heart. This is what David did. Saul is trying to kill me, but I have to be open to the Lord and trust in him. And so in Psalms, the 57th chapter, verse 7, we can see this out. His enemies are coming to take him down. And David says, my heart is, I need to, can you switch to the King James Version of that? New King James Version says steadfast. The King James Version says fixed. My heart is fixed, O God. My heart is fixed, O God. My heart is fixed. I will sing praise and give praise. I'm not bouncing between because my heart is fixed. I'm not double-minded in all my ways because my heart is fixed. I'm not looking to my left or to my right because my heart. When our hearts are fixed, we're trusting that he's going to provide a way. Sometimes it's hard to visualize this when you're in a group of people. And David helped me even with this because the people came to him distressed. and they wanted to throw stones at David. David lost his children too. His family was taken captive as well. And everybody coming to David, because David's the leader, they coming to David wanting to stone him because our children gone, what you gonna do? And the scripture says, and David encouraged himself in the Lord. And in encouraging himself in the Lord, he went to God and inquired in him to go get their families back. David's saying, I know y'all coming at me this way, but let me fix my heart. And what I'm saying in that situation is, if you in a boat and you trying to have your heart fixed and everybody else is in a disarray, it can cause your heart to be unfixed with God, right? We see this example in somebody, if a lifeguard comes to save someone. If that person is fighting, they both can drown. And so now he's putting himself or herself in danger, because if this person don't calm themselves down, then we both gonna end up going down. And so now I can't get my heart fixed because, what am I saying? This is what I'm saying. I want us to get. You have to get yourself to a place where your heart is fixed no matter what's going on around you or who is around you. And that's some of the mistakes sometimes that I made, even as leadership. Sometimes you'll take on, the people take on your spirit and your habits sometimes, but then you could take on theirs. That's what Moses did in not getting to the promised land. He took on their rebellion, and then now he rebels against God because of the folks. I'm not saying it's not about the folks or it's not about the person. What I'm saying is, no matter what's going on around you, you have to get yourself to a place that, you know what? My heart is fixed. Just think of a parent that say, you know what, I'm giving you over to God. You know what they're saying? I'm fixed. I'm done with it. I'm fixed. I'm giving it to God. I'm done. God, you're going to have to do this because I can't. Yeah. And that's why I'm saying that's where a fixed heart is you know what? I'm at the end of myself anyway. What I got to lose in trusting God if I'm losing it all anyway? So I have to fully trust him. To not see from my own lens, but to see from his lens. So you know how we keep our heart fixed? By getting into his presence.
Yes.
I will sing and give praise because my heart is fixed. You know why it's hard for you to praise him and what you're going through? Because your heart not fixed. You know why it's difficult to get out of praise because of what I'm going through? Because our hearts are not fixed. I realize, oh man. So this is why I go into the prayer now with praise and with giving thanks, because I'm trying to fix my heart. I'm trying to stay fixed on him.